Well, good morning everybody to the Friday morning warm-up, and welcome as always. This is number 104, and today we're going to be looking at guide tones, playing some scales, and doing the usual sort of things that get us warmed up in the morning when playing a musical instrument. So we'll get started straight away, doing a bit of clapping and stomping our feet, and let me just put that on the screen. So we're going back to revisit some of the old clapping patterns here, and the partito altos patterns. And what a partito alto rhythm is, it's a 2-bar rhythm which actually consists of 1 bar of on beats and 1 bar of off beats. However, you don't often see it like that. What you often see it is started at a point further into the pattern. So for example, in the one you'll see in front of you, the first 2 beats are on, and then there's 4 off beats, and then it's back to on beats for the last 2. And this gives it a nice sort of tension and release. Well, actually it's release and tension, then release sort of feel to it. So let me just get the egg timer going, and we'll do this for a minute. And if you want to stomp your feet, that's the bottom line. So we're just doing the top line round and round. Oops, I haven't got my metronome going. Here we go. After 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. Last time. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. Bang. Yes, good. Okay, that's just an example of partito alto, and looking at it in a very sort of clinical kind of way. But anyway, it's a good one to clap, and you'll find an awful lot of rhythms, melodies, riffs, and so on are based on that pattern. Even, and I've mentioned it before, Smoke on the Water, the riff. That's a partito alto riff. Okie dokie, let's grab our instruments, and we'll start to get them warmed up a little bit. Now today's main key is concert F major, so that's G or D for the other instruments. Sorry, not the other instruments, the B flat and the E flat instruments. So just for a minute, just let me make sure my F's in tune. A little bit sharp, a little bit flat. There we go. I'm just going to play concert F for a minute, and then we'll take it from there. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, do apologise. I hadn't checked my tuning beforehand. That's nearly right. But if you find yourself playing slightly out of tune, it's probably me, not you, this time. Oh, sorry, I don't mean this time as not other times, but right, let's move on. Let's go to the chromatic scale, and we're going to be doing all the way from concert F up to the octave and back down again, as we always have been doing recently. So no change at the moment. Are you ready? Straight into the chromatic scale, starting on concert F. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, 2, 3, 4. Down. A little bit quicker, and try singing it if you're playing guitar or piano. 1 or ukulele. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good thing to do is actually then to sing it without playing the instrument at the same time. So you're not just copying what your instrument's playing, you're actually learning to sing the chromatic scale. I didn't say violin also sing it because I know it rests under your chin. It might be, you can always hum it, maybe. One more time, no, a couple more times, a little bit quicker. Let's take it up to 140. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And one more, nice and quick to finish off. 190. Ooh. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. The chromatic scale. All the notes. Good. Right. Let's go to the main exercise sheet today, and you might have noticed I've included one for bass players as well, because we've gone a little bit off the scale here this time. Normally the notes, or at least the tab for guitar, is fitted just about on the bass guitar, but it's a little bit higher, so it shouldn't affect the rest of you, but there is a sheet for anyone playing the bass. Good, right, we're looking today at the key of F major, so just to make sure that's G major for the B flat instruments and D major for the altos, E flat instruments. And more specifically, we're looking at a chord progression known as a 2-5-1. So in F, that will be G minor for the 2, because it's the second chord up the scale, C7 for the 5 chord, and that back down to F, the root tonic, for the 1. So the 2-5-1. And the 3 lines of the sheet in front of you are just showing the scales and the arpeggios for those 3 chords. So we'll look at that in a minute. And what we're doing is exploring this idea of guide tones. We're going to pick out the guide tones from these 3 chords and create a line through them. So what are guide tones? Well, they're a kind of a line or a melody which, rather than just being a nice tune, pick out the key notes of the chords and sort of outline the chords, but in a very simple way. So rather than having large chords playing the harmonic sequence, if you use guide tones, you can do it by just playing 1 or 2 notes and creating a line through those chords, which gives the same sonic effect, same harmonic sound, as if you'd played the full chord. So I'll give you a little example. On the screen, it's a G minor 7, C7, F major 7 chord sequence, a 2-5-1. And if I just played big chords, full-size chords on the guitar, I haven't got a piano, but that's the 2 chord, that's the 5 chord, that's the 1 chord, and that's the 2 5 1s. But it's a large sound, isn't it? It's a but if I want to just pick out the guide tones, then normally they're the 3rds and the 7ths, though they don't have to be. You would get this sound. So it still sounds like a 2 5 1. So you get the same feeling of movement, of harmonic movement, but I'm only playing 3rds and 7ths. Just two notes at once. So we're going to pick those notes out from these chords, and you can play them on your instrument, because you don't all have instruments that you can play entire large chords on. So a lot of piano players and guitarists do just play the 3rds and 7ths when they're comping, particularly in a jazz setting, but also in just music in general. If you listen to the strings in the background of a piece of music, quite often they're playing a line through the chords which is following the 3rds and 7ths, and maybe some of the other notes. And you might think, well, why only the 3rds and 7ths? Well, the bass player is probably playing the 1st and the 5th, and that's all the notes. So you've got the complete set if you've got a bass player with you. So, right, we'll get started, and first of all, we're just going to play that first scale. So, like I say, we're in the key of F major, concert F major, but it's a 2 chord, so we're just going to play the F major scale starting on the 2nd note of the scale, the G, just to hear what that sounds like. So we're just going to play the first 2 bars. Get ready for that. Here we go, first 2 bars. So it's the F major scale, but it's from the 2nd note to the 2nd note, G to G. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, that's quite quick. I'll just slow that down. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do that again one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it does sound a little bit different, doesn't it? Some people might say, oh, that's the Dorian scale. And in some senses that's true, because you're playing from the 2nd degree up to the 2nd degree and back again. But we're not talking about modal music here, we're just talking about the major key. So it's really it's just the F major from the 2nd note to the 2nd note. Okay, good. So we're talking about G to G here, concert G to G. So how do we get the -7 arpeggio that's shown on the right hand side? Well, that's the root, the 3rd, the 5th and the 7th, counting from that scale we've just done. So if you take the first note and the 3rd note, not the 2nd, and the 5th and the 7th, we get that 3rd bar. So that's a G-7 arpeggio. The root, the 3rd, the 5th and the 7th. So let's just play bar 3 after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's an arpeggio for a G-7, concert G-7. A-7 or E-7 for the other guys. Let's do that again. 2, 3, 4. Root, 3rd, 5th, 7th. And one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4th bar is simply the same arpeggio but descending, and I've shown it in quavers instead. So let's just play that. Bar 4. So it's just coming down from the G, concert G. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bar 4 again, and 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 2, 3, 4. So that's in reverse. Obviously that's root, then 7th, fifth, third, back to the root. Shall we play those bars 3 and 4 together? Bar 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4. So just keep an eye on which ones are the thirds and the sevenths. So if we go to bar 3 again, just look at bar 3, that's root, third, fifth and seventh. So the second one along is the third, yeah, and the seventh is that last one, the fourth note. Okay, because we'll be coming back to that. Right, that's the 2 chord in a 2-5-1 in this key. Let's move on to the 5 chord. So just exactly the same idea. We're just going to play the F major scale, concert F, but this time starting on the C, the 5th. And I've just didn't check the tab very well on this, so guitarists, do apologise. It's running up the top string. I should have repositioned that. So anyway, we're running up the F major scale, but starting on the 5th note. 5th to the 5th and back down again. Yeah, so we're just going to do these first 2 bars. This will sound like a Mixolydian scale, although we're, like I say, not concerned with modes today. So bars 1 and 2 of the second line. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I'm struggling with that, so I imagine you guys are as well. Let's just do that again. I'm following the tab. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's, as I say, that's the key we're talking about, going from the 5th to the 5th. Because we're talking about the 5 chord now. So if we take from that scale that we've just played, again, if you take the 1st, the 3rd, the 5th and the 7th from that initial bar, you'll get bar 3, which will be the notes for a C7, or the dominant chord, the arpeggio. So the root, the 3rd, the 5th and the 7th. So let's just play bar 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, root, 3rd, 5th and 7th. Keep an eye on the 3rd and 7th. Which ones are they? Here we go. Let's do that again. 1, oh, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Root, 3rd, 5th, 7th. And as before, the next bar is just the same thing, descending, starting on the tonic. Let's just do that. 1, 2, so bar 4, 4. Ooh, totally messed that up. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's That's it. So that's the arpeggio coming down. Let's play those two bars, bars 3 and 4 on the second line. So it's going up the dominant 7th arpeggio and coming down again. After 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, 2, 3, 4. Root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, da 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 da. One more time. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the 5 chord of our 2-5-1. We're now moving on to the 3rd line, which will be the 1 chord. You might think, why didn't we start with this? Well, 2-5-1s. This is where everything's released. It's all tension, tension, and then we finally arrive at the tonic, the key chord, and everything relaxes. So we're now looking at the F major scale from F to F, which of course is the F major scale, or G or D for the tenors and altos. Let's play the first 2 bars. So this is just an F major scale, and again the fingering's a little bit strange here. I need to pay more attention to that. I'm sure I've told myself that before, but we'll play the F major scale now. Up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good old familiar sounding F major. 2, 3, 4. It's interesting that we've been playing exactly the same scale on the last 2 lines, but simply by starting on different notes other than the root note, they sound totally different. And same notes, different starting place. Okay, this is clearly a major scale, isn't it? What you can tell just by hearing it. Let's do it one more time. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. And just the same, if you take the 1st, the 3rd, the 5th and the 7th of that scale, you'll get the major 7th arpeggio, which is in bar 3. So now we're going to play bar 3, which is the root 3rd, 5th and 7th of a concert F major. So the chord will be F major 7. Let's just play bar 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, 2, 3, 4. That's root 3rd, 5th, 7th. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's play the bar 4, the descending version. 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I missed the count there. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. That's a major 7th arpeggio. We're going to now play bars 3 and 4 together after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. And 1, 2, 3, 4. time. 2, 3, 4. Okay, and just the same, let's look at the 3rd and the 7th of that. So you'll see the 3rd there. You might want to blow the 3rd or pluck the 3rd note. 3rd of the chord. Should sound like that. And the 7th. Yeah, so if you look on that, bar 3 is showing the root 3rd, 5th and 7th, so you can pick out the 3rd and the 7th. And exactly the same applies to the previous chord, which I'm not sure I did that. Just do the 3rd and the 7th of the previous chord, the line above. So just do the 3rd of the dominant 7th. Notice that's the same, that 3rd is the same note as the 7th of the one we've just played, the F major. And that's going to become more apparent in a minute. Good. So, okay, good. We've got the scales there, got the arpeggios. We're starting to see where the 3rds and 7ths are. So on the next line, still following the 2-5-1 progression, I've picked out, and you can see where it says that, the 3rd of the 2 chord, then the 7th of the 5 chord, and then the 3rd of the 1 chord. So the 2, the 5 and the 1 is still taking place in the 2-bar sequence. But I'm just picking out those particular guide tones. And now, if we play what's written in the first 2 bars of this line, yeah, they're all very similar notes, you'll start to hear those chords, but just in a single note. So let's just play. I will speed it up slightly because they're nice long notes. Yeah, just those first 2 bars, the 3rd, the 7th and the 3rd. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this time, you play those notes, I'll play the chords, and you'll hear them sitting nicely in the chords. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do that again. So you play the notes. 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, well that's going 3rd, 7th, 3rd. It tends to work if you alternate 3rd to 7th to 3rd or 7th to 3rd to 7th. And that's what I've done on the next 2 bars. So bars 3 and 4 are now the other way around. The 7th, the 3rd, then the 7th of those 3 chords. So you play the line that's shown on the sheet, I'll play those chords. And you'll hear a different harmony, but it's still within the chords that I'm playing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So that should sound all perfectly nice and reasonable. And if you're wanting to make up your own line, they call these backing lines sometimes, through a chord sequence, you can pick 3rd, 7th, 3rd or 7th, 3rd, 7th and use your ear to judge which you prefer, but they both generally work, especially if the music is moving through what we know as the cycle of fifths. Okay, moving on to the next line, and here I've just combined the 2. So guitarists and piano players can do this. You can play both notes at the same time. And I've shown an example there. We won't play that one, that's just for you to see how you can, because we've already played them singly. But guitarists and piano players, you could play the 2 at the same time, or bass players even. And that does sound like you're playing the chord there, because you're playing the 3rd and the 7th at the same time. And the 3rd and the 7th define the chord, so you're effectively playing the whole chord. because the third says it's major or minor, and the seventh says it's what kind of seventh it is, a dominant or a major. But I've split them up on the next two bars where it says melodic combination of line above into a melodic phrase which fits over, which goes third, seventh, third, seventh, third, seventh, third. Seven rather. So now just play bars 3 and 4. It should say 19 and 20 actually on the sheet. Melodic combination of the above line. You play that, I'll play the chords. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. And what you might have noticed is when the chord changes, there's only a semitone change in the melodic note, and that's a nice way of pulling two chords together and making the listener feel like they're moving through the chords by having a semitone change in melodic note. And there's another one there. So something to look for as well. Okay, moving on to the last line now. Just a couple of phrases there for you to play over the chords. So I'll just play the chords again and you play that melodic line and see if it doesn't sound really nice. Okay, so I'm just playing the 2-5-1, the G minor, C7, F major. 2 to the bar. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So you're playing the bottom line now, the first 2 bars. After 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. And then the last one is the melody for this last piece. So you play that melody, the last 2 bars of the sheet. I'll play those chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da, 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 da. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's just to highlight the way that the link between chords is done by having a semitone difference in the melodic line. Okay, good. I like the interesting examples there. I hope they're interesting and give a bit of food for thought. Time is moving on, so we do need to just finish off with a little bit of strumming. And you can try any of those ideas over the chords, although I'm going to spend longer on each chord. So they're quite quick changes. So just let's go to the chord sequence now. I'm just going to strum those chords. If you don't know F major 7, just play F major. Alright, and just for the last minute then, I'm just going to strum that, and you can try some of those ideas, or you can just improvise in the key, or play melodic lines, or whatever you like, or strum along. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da And for the last time, finish on the tonic. And there we have it. Some ideas for guide tones, and we'll be repeating that in a different key in a few weeks' time. So anything you didn't catch, you'll have another go in weeks to come. Righty ho, everybody, that's it. I hope you enjoy your warmish weekend and make the most of it. I'm sure it will last for a few days at least. Okay, nice to see you all.
Nice to
Thank you very much.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody. Have a great
See you
weekend.
next
Thank you,
week.
David.
See you soon.